Imagine you are back to being 12 years old. It's a normal day. You're at home and you've just had breakfast. You've gone up to your room, you're getting your bag ready to go to school. When all of a sudden, your mother bursts through the door and says, "Pack your suitcase. We're leaving." And suddenly, the world as you knew it had changed. That there are people right outside your house who are rioting and looting. And that somehow people who looked like you, people with the same skin color as you, with the same shaped eyes as you, had suddenly become the target of brutal violence. Now, the 12-year-old you doesn't understand this, of course. I mean, one minute you're safe and sound at home, the next you're being shipped off to some foreign land where people look at you funny for the way you speak, where the food is strange, and even the quality of the air is different. Welcome to my world. I arrived in Australia as a bewildered 12-year-old. Now, I tried telling my story to my Australian peers and my Australian teachers, but I was either shrugged off or called weird, or at the very least, met with a lot of confusion. People didn't know what to do with a 12-year-old that had been through the things that I had been through. So as a result of this, for the first 4 years of my life in this country, I shut down. I basically stopped speaking. And I made myself completely invisible. I felt utterly isolated. And at worst, the very worst thing was, I had no idea that my story mattered, and that what I had been through mattered. And this is exactly why I believe in what Western Edge Youth Arts does. The sole purpose of Western Edge Youth Arts is to enable young people to make sense of the world that they live in through theatre. Western Edge Youth Arts works in Melbourne's West, the most culturally diverse area in all of Victoria, where 21.6% of the population is under 15. And what Western Edge Youth Arts does is, we go into schools and we specifically find those young people who have only recently arrived as refugees, as migrants, as asylum seekers. And these are young people who come from economically poor backgrounds, who are more likely to experience learning difficulties at school if they're lucky enough to go to school. And how Western Edge Youth Arts changes these young people's lives is, we give them 3 things. Firstly, we give them visibility. How do we do that? Every single theatre performance that Western Edge Youth Arts puts on is co-created by these young people. And what does that mean? It means that these young people see their stories on stage. And what does that mean? It tells them over and over and over that your story matters. Secondly, Western Edge Youth Arts gives these young people and the community that they are a part of a sense of belonging. When you come to a Western Edge Youth Arts performance, the communities that these young people are a part of, the Middle Eastern communities, the African communities, the Asian communities, the Pacific Islander communities, turn out in the droves to support them. And why do they do that? Because they get to see their stories on stage, and because they want to support these young people in being seen by the broader community. Thirdly, Western Edge Youth Arts gives these young people a professional pathway to a career in the performing arts, and that's where you guys come in. I want to invite all of you tonight to pledge your support for our most experienced group of emerging artists, the Edge Ensemble. The Edge Ensemble are a group of 6 emerging artists from 6 different cultural backgrounds who are on the cusp of premiering a new work, Caliban, at Malthouse Theatre in November of this year. Caliban is inspired by the Shakespearean classic The Tempest, and equally inspired by these young people's experiences of climate change. How climate change is fueling war in their native Sudan. How climate change is literally wiping their homes off the face of this planet in their Pacific Island nations. You can be a part of making sure that Caliban is a huge success. $10,000 will ensure that these young professional artists are paid for countless of hours of rehearsal. $15,000 will make sure that we are able to hire a dedicated publicist to promote Caliban, the biggest gig that the Edge Ensemble would have ever done, to be seen on main stage theater by a much broader audience. $20,000 will make sure that we are able to create high-quality promotional material and trailers. These are trailers that we will use not just to publicize Caliban, but to attract further funding and sponsorship for the Edge Ensemble beyond a project-by-project basis. So let me conclude by saying that when you give to Western Edge Youth Arts, you are directly contributing to these young people's sense of belonging. And why that matters to every single one of us here is because when you give to Western Edge Youth Arts, you are directly, together with us, building a community that is more loving for the people who are in most need of that love. Thank you.